Every year in the NFL, it's a new team. As far as goals go, we have one. Putting a f***ing ring on our finger.
Welcome to the Buccaneers Observer Podcast. This is Ralph Phillips.
I'm Molly Bay.
Today is August 18th, 2021. 22 days until kickoff. We get to beat up the Cowboys. That's going to be fun. Do you have confidence we're going to win that game?
Yes.
Yeah, me too.
I think we'll still be working some kinks out. I don't think it's going to be smooth, like as smooth as we saw at the end of last season.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, Byron Leftwich has even said this team looks like a totally different team because they've got the practice in and stuff. We started watching the Hard Knocks. What did we get, 15 seconds into it?
Yes.
Started watching the Hard Knocks, and immediately Dak Prescott comes on, and I think the first thing he said was, what was it? My cousin?
No, his brother.
His brother
died.
Yeah, his brother died, and they just started immediately with the what's it called? The personal stories.
Yeah.
There's a term for it.
Well, and it's not. It was just depressing. I watch it for entertainment, to be entertained. I don't want to hear, I'm sorry that your brother tragically died. That is awful. That is so sad. I hate that for you. That sucks. That's not entertainment to me. And I just don't want to watch depressing shit in my free time.
This is so true. Now, Molly is somebody who, she doesn't like to watch horror movies. She doesn't like to watch anything depressing. She's a very upbeat, happy person. And she's gotten me into it because I used to watch all the horror movies, and I still am into very intense media.
All of it. We go through his movie list, and it's intense.
Yeah, she's like, I don't want to watch that. I don't want to watch that.
Apocalypse, any
action
of those.
Movies. It's just everything.
No, I don't even mind action movies, but like a Bruce Willis, good old fashioned action movie. Give me that. Mm-hmm. But I don't want a zombie apocalypse movie, and that's like, that's
right. So
the bulk of your.
So she's gotten me more into lighter stuff. And I was thinking about this, the state of the world and how everybody seems to be depressed and just anxious all the time now anymore. And I went back and I looked at the top shows from the 1980s, well, from the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2010s, 2020s, the top 10 programs on television. And in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, it was all humor. It was all funny stuff. The wedding, what's it called? The honeymooners, the Three Stooges, stuff like that. In the 80s and 90s, it was Friends and Seinfeld and Cheers. Seinfeld?
Yeah.
What did I say?
Seinfeld. It was just, sorry.
Seinfeld. And, even up into the 2010s, but in the 2000s, you started seeing this encroachment of the heavy, serious drama like Sopranos and Hill Street Blues, or not Hill Street Blues, ER, and all these programs that were more dramatic. And then in the 2010s, that's all it was. Mm-hmm. There was one humor show, two, out of the top 10, whereas it was the other way around for most of the time. It was usually 8 of the top 10 shows were humorous. But in the 2010s, it was 8 of the top 10 shows were dramatic. These serious, intense shows like Game of Thrones and whatnot.
And all the crime dramas.
CSI, NCSI, and CSI Miami.
SVU.
And,
Order. There we go.
And then the funny shows were Big Bang Theory and 2.5 Men. And then 2.5 Men dropped out. So Big Bang Theory was the only one left eventually. And you're like, no wonder everybody's stressed out and anxious. There's no more humor anywhere. Mm-hmm. Now, I've always said this about media, movies especially. You have to have humor in it. I think that's one of the things where Game of Thrones thrived in is, little Tyrion, the little guy. He was funny. And they had a couple of funny characters in the midst of all this drama. But then towards the end of the seasons, they stopped his humor. And he was more of a
He was very serious.
diplomat. Yeah, very serious. So I think that helped tank that show. Anyhow, I don't know where we were watching Hard Knocks. We were all excited, got it on, queued up, started watching it 15 seconds in. I just went over and turned it off. I was like, I don't want to watch this.
Yeah.
I don't want to be depressed. I don't want to be sad. I don't want to see some, story about, I want football. Now, Hard Knocks has always been more about the off the field stuff than the on the field stuff, so you got that. And, there should be a balance between this stuff. You got the stats guys. They should be balanced out. You got the personal interest stories. That should be balanced out with the actual analysis and football on the field stuff, which is my bailiwick. That's what I like. I mean, I like getting into players' personalities and their histories and all that good stuff once I really get into them on the field, like Vita Vea and stuff. I'm like, I really like him. I'd like to know more about him. But it seems like we get an overdose of the personal interest stories and the statistics.
But they're not good personal interest stories.
Yeah, right.
They're always tragedies. Like they recovered from cancer, their mom died, Dak Prescott, his brother died, all this stuff. And then they want to go into his injury, and you're like...
Yes, I need funny stuff.
Yeah.
I want funny stuff.
Remember Hard Knocks? I mean, there was that classic scene from the Ravens Hard Knocks.
That was first season.
And it's like, what happened to that?
Yeah.
Like,
that was funny.
These guys in these NFL locker rooms, they are not walking around all depressed unless you're in, like, Jacksonville. Right. But, like, for the most part, they're having a good time. They're playing fun. These are their boys, and they're having a good time the whole time. They're not going around talking about their tragedies the whole time. It's just so... It's
everything's so dramatic anymore.
It's dramatic. It's trying to appeal to a weird. I don't understand who they're trying to appeal to with this stuff.
I would say they're trying to appeal to the women.
I agree.
The effeminate suit people. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's who the focus groups have said. Oh, you need to pay attention to these people, and this is what they want to hear.
Right. Yeah, guys like me, we are few and far between. We're interested in the X's and O's and the Jimmies and Joes and. The competition and strategy on the field between the coaches, stuff like that. Yeah, we seem to definitely be a minority. But, it's just, I just had to turn it off. I was just like, I'm just not in the mood for it. I have to be in the mood for it, So maybe we'll watch it. Maybe we won't. I don't know. But with that, we went on a rant there, totally unplanned and uncalled for. All right, we got a great show for you. Besides that 8-minute rant. We've got news. We're going to cover some of the preseason games, some more of that in our division. Got some, you got stuff around the NFL. We got Bucs news. You got stuff around the NFL.
I do indeed.
No, I was getting ready to say we laid some people off, like word.
Yeah. We'll talk about that, our roster moves.
We cut some people, added some people. And but first... Number one point of business, accountability, fact checks, and follow-ups. Need a drum roll there.
Oh, okay. I need a fact check. I have a fact check on myself. Okay. I had said in a previous episode that we were already down to 85 on the roster. That was not correct. I got bad information. I should have checked it out myself. We were not down to 85, so we cut, I put it away already. John Franklin and somebody else, and then we put, I can't remember. I'll find it. And then we put Sedarius Hutcherson on IR and signed a tackle in his place, and that got us down to IR. Or 85. 85.
Yes, okay, good. Fact checking yourself. Very good.
I am.
Keeps me from having to do that work. You had brought this up on the 10-minute news yesterday, right?
I did, yeah.
Okay. All right, first fact check. According to Bucs Time 12, one of our viewers on YouTube, he said Tryon, our defensive end, was not called for helmet-to-helmet in that game. He was called for lowering his body weight on a quarterback. I thought it was helmet-to-helmet. So thank you for that, Bucs Time. We do appreciate it. You were correct. We were wrong. I was wrong. I don't think Molly had any input on that. My point still stands. It was a horrible call. You know what? How far are they going to take this quarterback stuff? Because to me, it didn't look malicious. It didn't look to me like he was trying to hurt the quarterback. I thought it was a good hit.
They were so inconsistent in the preseason week one. Like, we watched the Panthers game, we watched New Orleans, and we watched Atlanta, and there were hits that were as bad, if not worse, on quarterbacks that they did not call. So it's very inconsistent. I want to talk about the taunting rule.
Okay.
Well, we'll talk about that in a second.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, there were worse calls, I thought, or worse hits, I thought, in the preseason that just were not called. And so the refs in our game were atrocious. Yeah.
We covered that already, but it was just bad. It's preseason. They're learning too. They're getting coordinated. Same with the camera guys. They're all getting the microphone, audio guys. Everybody's in preseason right now. All right. Fact check. Now, this is a circular loop here. This is the third time we've done this fact check, I think, or the second time. I had said that Molly was incorrect because she had said that Ryan Smith went to the Tennessee Titans. And she was like, oh, I did say that? I thought I said the Texans. Well, that's where he originally went. And I said, no, you said the Texans or the Titans.
Said the Titans.
So I went back, listened to it. I finally found the clip, and she was correct. She did say he went to the Texans.
So basically what you're saying, let me get this straight, is I was right and you were wrong.
You were right twice, actually.
Okay, cool.
And this is just me admitting it.
All right, awesome.
Yes. So Ryan Smith is with the Texans. That's a horrible train wreck of a place to go. I feel bad for him. I liked Ryan Smith.
I did too. Is that where our defensive backs go to die?
It seems that way. Hargreaves went there.
Yep.
And he's out of the league now, right? Don't know.
Oh, gosh.
Are you looking it up?
I'm going to look it up.
Okay, you look it up while I continue. All right. Follow-up. Now, this is a follow-up we had done in, I want to say 2017, so it was 4 years ago. It might have been 2018. Anyhow, who decides the top NFL 100 list? And this is a question we had answered, and I'm going to answer it again. According to a 2013 article from Pro Football Talk, all players receive a ballot for the NFL top 100 list. Each player lists only his top 20 players in the league. The top-ranked player earns 20 points. The second-ranked player earns 19 points, and so forth. And then they add them all up. Votes are done during Pro Bowl balloting, so they can do them together. Voting is from November to April. The list has one major rule. Retired players are not eligible for the list, even if they retire during the season. And usually only about 20 or 30% of the players submit the list.
Sorry, my alarm's going off on my phone.
So
there we go.
So all the players get a form, get a voting ballot, and about 20 to 30% of them turn it in. Of course, that was in 2013. I don't know if that's gone up or down here recently, but that's who does it. It's the players. The top 100 is the players. Cool. It has nothing to do with the coaches or anything. Now, again, like I was saying, even the players, you would think players would know who is good players, but you only know if a player is good as if you have played against them. You know, one thing about highlight reels and the stats is that there's a crap ton of variables that go into things that are not listed. For instance, you know, say a guy gets 3 sacks in a game. You think, ooh, he's really good. Well, he might be going up against a offensive lineman who is not very good or is hurt or is, having some type of issues or whatever. So it's not really that this guy that got the 3 sacks is good. It's that the offensive lineman is bad, but it's going to show up as the defensive lineman as good who got the sacks. They don't have sacks for who sucks, which they should. They should have stats for who misses blocks, who doesn't fulfill their assignments, who gets beat, in a play. But they don't. So stats are very misleading. And when people follow stats, they're following kind of a phantom. There's plays and teams who it's their opponent that is bad, that makes them look good. And that's a huge thing. I mean, opponents mean everything. When I was back into boxing really big, I was a big fan of Marvin Hagler. Loved Marvin Hagler. There was Sugar Ray Leonard, but then there was a third guy. Sugar Ray Leonard and Marvin Hagler kept swapping the belt back and forth. But there was a third guy, I can't remember his name, Hines. If you could ask me at any other time, I'd be able to spout it off real quick. But he was always fighting those two, and he had great fights, but he could never get the championship because those two guys were just a little bit better than him. And if they weren't there, he would have been the champion because he was a good fighter. It's like in NASCAR, Mark Martin, he had to go against Jeff Gordon and Dale Earnhardt. So Mark Martin was like always second, but he was a good, Matt Kenseth, same way, very quiet. He would just compete and win. He won the championship one year, but he was up against the Jimmy Johnsons and all these guys. So you're only as good as your competition. So when these guys are making these lists, if you don't play against that guy, you can't evaluate how good he is unless you watch game film and really analyze it. And these guys are not watching game film on guys that they're not going to play. That'd be like you coming home from your job and doing your job without any need to. Saying you're not getting paid for it or anything. I mean, you're not going to sit here and put numbers in spreadsheets just because you like doing it. And these guys are not getting off work watching film all day and then going home and watch film all day on guys that they're not going to play. Mm-hmm. So it's all a popularity contest and, hearsay and all that good stuff. I'm saying all that because I'm still mad that Shaquille Barrett was 88th, 83rd?
Yeah, let me run through those real quick because I think the last podcast they were not all out yet. So we've got Tristan Wirfs at 89. Number 88 is Shaq Barrett. 81 is Chris Godwin. 59 JPP. 48 was Mike Evans, and 43 was Levante David.
Good. So we've still got a couple players going on now. Somebody in the comments had mentioned that they think Vita Vea should be on the list. And I agree with you. I'll agree with that 100%. But I don't know if he will be because he was out for 12 games last year.
Yeah, most of them. I think like week 5, and then 5 through 17, and then 2 games of the playoffs, right? Or did he came back for Washington?
Oh man, I can't remember if he came back for Washington.
Okay, I just looked it up. Vernon Hargreaves is still with the Texans.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that might explain why they suck
he
so bad.
He signed an extension in the off season, actually.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Speaking of the NFL Top 100, they did 41 through 100 already, and then they're going to do 11 through 40 this Sunday. So then Sunday at 4 p.m. and then the top 10 will be another day.
Okay. So I don't. It wouldn't surprise me if he's not on there.
Yeah.
He should be on there just because he's awesome, but
And somebody else said Winfield.
Now I 100% think Winfield should. Just based on his play from last year.
I think that he's just infamous now because of this.
Oh, because of the taunting. Everyone
saw that in the Super Bowl. I mean, that's like the image from the Super Bowl, I think. So I hope he'll get that recognition. I don't know if he will, but we'll see.
Yes, you're right. The Vita did not come back until the Packers game. He didn't play against the Redskins or against the Saints.
Right again. Yeah. I'm gonna start tallying them up.
Yeah, it'll be a short list. So okay. That's it for fact checks and follow-ups. We're getting really good at this.
Okay, I want to follow up to my fact check earlier. So the 2 players that we waived were John Franklin and center Donnell Stanley was the other one that we waived. And then we got where'd I go? Okay. Sedarius Hutcherson went on IR, and then we signed Jake Benzinger, tackle.
Okay.
So, there we go.
Good stuff.
Good stuff.
So we have to get down to 80 by next Tuesday, and then 53. The final cut is August 31st. We've got 2 weeks. 2 weeks, and we'll know our team. It's going to be the same damn team.
I know.
Other than, 3 or 4 people?
Like a few backups, yeah.
Although Tanner Hudson, I don't know. He wasn't in practice today because of his wrist.
I know. And BA said they were like, oh, is he going to be back? You know, what's going on with him? And BA was like, he might not even make the team if he don't come back, basically.
I'm telling you, I like Bruce Arians because he says all the stuff that I would say. Mm-hmm. He's a confirmation bias medallion for me. That's exactly how I feel. I mean, the guy, he's done great in the preseason. He did great in the last preseason game. He did great in preseason last year. But then when he got on the field, he got his chances. He just stank it up. He was horrible at blocking. I'm not even sure if he caught a ball. He had a couple in the end zone that he dropped. And, you know, I mean, you're like, hey, look, we've got a stacked team, especially at tight end. And if you're not going to be out here, you're definitely not going to make the team, you know, because you're just not showing anything on the field other than preseason against second and third stringers. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so again, availability is accountability. And
and his only value, especially in a tight end room that's stacked with Gronk. I mean, just Gronk alone.
Yeah,
you're like
right there.
But then you got Cam Brate and OJ theoretically.
Theoretically.
So, I mean, just in that room alone, the only way you're going to make the roster is if you're showing value elsewhere, namely special teams. And if you're not going to be there, like you're not going to take up a roster spot.
Right.
It's just not going to happen.
Yeah. It wouldn't surprise me at all if he's gone. I've been saying that all off season. Cam Gill, we got an update on him. Was he at practice today?
He was not at practice today. So
they're going to cut him. Damn it.
Yeah. So here is who was out at practice today. Cam Gill, Jordan Whitehead, Raven Greene, Tanner Hudson, Troymaine Pope, Travis Jonsen. So we got O.J. Howard back today and Robert Hainsey came back today. But BA said it's iffy if Hainsey is going to play on Saturday.
So Cam Gill has been out almost all preseason, right? Training camp?
I think so.
And nobody would say what the problem was.
Right. Okay, so Rondé during the preseason game said it was a hamstring.
And then you saw him with a boot on.
No, yeah, I didn't see him. One of the Bucs reporters said he had a boot on his foot. So I'm like, that's not a hamstring.
That's Bucs reporters. It could have been a bag over his head. They get it wrong. I kid. So we don't know what's going on with him and why he's not practicing, and there's really no follow up on it. I mean, that's kind of, to me, that's the biggest issue with our team right now is him. Because I liked him when he was on the field. He made plays. He was fast, agile. He would be a good backup for our linebackers, outside linebackers, and you know, down the line he might turn into something really good. But you know, if you can't show up, you're not going to be on this team. We're too stacked at every position.
Exactly. That's what I was about to say. Even that position, too, is just stacked. You got JPP and Shaq.
Now you got Tryon.
You got Tryon that we just drafted, which everyone's saying he's an animal. And then you have Anthony Nelson, who's serviceable backup. You know, he's safe. There's no reason that they're going to get rid of him. Yeah. So, and you have Ledbetter, outside linebacker.
No, but that's the thing with a lot of our guys. They can play outside linebacker. Goldston can play outside linebacker.
Right. So, you know, it's just if you're not. And then who's the other one? Not Cam Gill. It's the other one. Quentin Bell. He's also pretty good. Yeah. You know? So it's like they're kind of fighting. I think for Cam Gill and Quentin Bell, I think, are fighting for that 5th spot. So I think there's no fight. I mean, Cam Gill's putting up no fight.
Exactly.
If you're injured, you can't fight for a position.
I mean, I would have to say that to me, Cam Gill sounds like he's given up. Mm-hmm. Like he's just seceding his spot. Mm-hmm. So that's just horrible. It sucks. I had high hopes for him. Then again, I had high hopes for Noah Spence. Mm-hmm. He turned out to be nothing. And where was it he went to? Chicago?
No, he went to the Redskins. And then he went to the Saints. So
Saints. And
Saints just cut him.
They just cut him. Yeah. So, he's done.
Yeah. Yeah.
Unless you're gifted with supreme talent in this league, you got to hustle, man. You got to bust your butt. And you have to go out there and show these guys that you'll do whatever it takes. You'll practice until you pass out. And if you don't, because that's like the minimum. That's like the minimum. Unless you're born with, or unless you have like extreme high level skills, you got to go out there and just show them you will sacrifice everything. Yeah. And then you're not even guaranteed. And when you don't even show up for practices, or you're walking around in a boot, or you get a hamstring, when there's 5 guys ahead of you who are out there practicing and everything, they're going to pick them all day long. Mm-hmm. I don't care how much potential you show. And that just sucks. I hate to see that with players. The nature of
the game.
Yeah. The churning.
So we had some more churning today. Good segue there. Raven Greene was actually cut today. So
that's a shame. I don't know who he is.
He's safety. He's actually from Virginia Beach, where we are. So anyway, he's coming home. And then
should we meet him at the airport?
I know, right? And then we claimed tackle Brandon Walton off of waivers. The Steelers just waived him.
Steelers, huh? You know who we need to get off waivers anytime the Washington Redskins or the Chargers get rid of offensive linemen, we need to snag them up, because those are the only 2 offensive lines that did a pretty good job of holding our defensive lines in check last year.
So, in your opinion, if they have an abundance of offensive linemen,
mm-hmm.
so the people they're cutting aren't necessarily bad.
Right. They just have too many good ones.
They just have too many good ones.
Right.
Well.
This guy's from where?
Steelers.
Yeah. Didn't Pouncey retire this year?
I don't know. Let me look. Look, I'm just trying to save you.
I'm keeping you busy. Yes, he did. He sure did. Marquis Pouncey retired. He used to be the center for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yes.
For 11 years. It's a long time.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Especially for an offensive lineman. That's really good. Okay, speaking of other offensive linemen, so we talked about Caleb Benenoch before going to the Bills. I guess they cut him. Mm-hmm. And then we reported yesterday that he was working out with the Saints, and they did end up signing him. So he is reuniting with Jameis Winston.
There would be nothing happier that would make me happier than seeing the Saints turn into the 2010 and beyond Buccaneers. Mm-hmm. For the past decade, Buccaneers.
It looks like they're heading that direction.
They are heading that direction.
That preseason game was not
Oh,
good.
my gosh. We watched it, and, I had heard people talking about it, and they said that, the stats were similar between Taysom Hill and Jameis Winston, and both of them had their good moments and their bad moments, so it was kind of a tie and all that good stuff. That's what I had heard. I watched it. There is no way on this planet that Jameis Winston beat out Taysom Hill in that game. That Taysom Hill played much better. Jameis Winston looked like Jameis Winston. He has not changed a bit. Mm-hmm. How do you do that? He was goofy. He was clumsy.
Made bad decisions.
Yeah, he made bad decisions. But, he had those couple of plays where you're just like, ooh, big deep bombs and stuff. And his very first play, remember when we drafted him, his very first play, pick 6. His very last play with us, pick 6. His very first play in this preseason game, he trips. He runs into the running back. They get their legs caught up, and he falls. Jameis Winston falls down.
After the handoff.
The running back bobbles the ball and then ends up fumbling it. And the Ravens got it.
Now,
and you're like,
Taysom
very
Hill.
first play. Thank you, Jameis. That's so Jameis.
It was Jameis.
Yeah.
Taysom Hill had, I think, 2 or 3 turnovers too.
2, I think.
But one of them didn't squirt out from the running back. One of them, it wasn't his fault. But
Yeah.
I think it was chalked up to him.
Both of them wasn't his fault, I think.
Yeah.
One, the receiver stopped. It was a communication issue. The receiver was going across the middle, and Taysom Hill, as soon as he threw it, the receiver stopped in his tracks, and the ball kept going, and it was intercepted. But I thought Taysom Hill looked much, much better than Jameis Winston. Jameis Winston, he's so, like, what do you say? You called him? He's a baby gazelle? Baby giraffe?
Like a newborn baby gazelle.
Yeah, that's how he moves around.
He's
And
so
it's so
clumsy.
true.
Learning how to use their legs, they just fall out and then they gotta stand up and run from predators. That's Jameis Winston.
Even the announcer mentioned Jameis's happy feet.
But he did have one beautiful bomb that could have been picked off.
Yeah.
He wasn't thrown to Mike Evans, so. But
yeah,
very much a Jameis Winston game, I thought.
There was no doubt in my mind that Taysom Hill played better. I'd take Taysom Hill as my quarterback over Jameis Winston right now.
Well, you've been singing Taysom Hill's praises for years.
Well, except for last year when he got that chance, he just came out looking flat.
Stunk it up.
Yeah. So it don't matter. Either way they go, they're screwed.
Yeah, I think so too.
So, that game was okay. The Colts Panthers game, boring. I mean, we fell asleep watching that game. It was like, oh my gosh, there was nothing going on in that game. I think the ref crew was the most exciting thing.
I don't remember.
Right, exactly. That's how boring it was. But then the Atlanta Titans game, that was great, man. I mean, those guys were hitting. There was some great tackling, and the run backs, the punt returners and kick returners were both just lighting it up, man. It was great. Atlanta kind of fell off with the kick returns because they put somebody else in. Originally, they started off with number 35, Avery Williams, and he was just juking all over the place. Tennessee had number 12, Mason Kinsey, and he was juking all over the place. It was fun watching.
We're going to watch him in this preseason game if he plays, if he starts. See how our guys match up against him. I think that'll be a real tell for our special team.
The way our special teams played preseason 1 and all of last year, they were very special. They were short bunch special. And this Mason Kinsey's he's going to pop off 30, 40-yard runs on us. But I think he was second string now. I don't think he's their starting. I think Cordell Patterson is their starting kick returner. So that'll be interesting to watch. But that was a fun game. I mean, it was like our game. It was like, man, there was some good stuff out there, good hitting going on, which, it made me kind of lift my eyebrows up. I'm like, ooh, Atlanta might not be as bad as I thought they were going to be.
Well, did you look at the scoreboard, though?
No.
It was 13-3.
Oh, that's right. They're the ones that couldn't score a touchdown.
Yeah. Yeah, they even got way far down the field and they could not seal the deal.
They kept No, they weren't missing field goals. Who was missing all the field goals?
I think he missed one. Young Ho Fu Koo. Young Ho Koo.
Yes. Who was it that was missing all the field goals? Oh my goodness. Tennessee? I can't remember. Somebody just missed a whole crap load of field goals.
Yeah.
But
I don't remember.
Atlanta looked a lot better than I thought they would be, especially their depth, which is what you look for in these games.
But Matt Ryan didn't even dress for the game.
No, they had that quarterback who was just getting destroyed. Neither team could block. So Atlanta's defense was killing their quarterback, and the Titans' defense was killing Atlanta's quarterback. And the same with the New Orleans game. Remember, we were sitting there going, wow, New Orleans defense looks really good.
Yeah, yeah.
But then the exact opposite was happening too, where the quarterbacks were getting chased out. The Saints quarterbacks were getting chased around.
Yeah. just destroyed.
Mm-hmm.
I think it just goes to show how hard offensive line is, and to find good offensive linemen. And you also wonder, like, these guys, how long have they been practicing together?
Yeah.
You know, most starting offensive lines have been together for a while if they're decent.
Yeah. Yeah. They have to really coordinate together. It's a big issue with them. The other thing that with the Jameis Winston and Taysom Hill battle there was Jameis Winston was out there with the second and third string guys. Mm-hmm. He was also going up against the second and third string defense. You know, so you could say, well, you know, he wasn't playing with the first team, so that's maybe why he looked bad. But he was going against the second and third string defense, and he just looked like crap, I thought. Other than, you know, his usual, he get those big throws or those spectacular dynamic plays every now and then. The A.J. McCarron is number 5. He's back up for Matt Ryan. But then Felipe Franks is number 15. Mm-hmm. He impressed me. I liked him. They were getting destroyed. The quarterbacks were. Mm-hmm. And he came in and he just started running all over the place. He was throwing some great passes. He's a big, tall dude, too. I think he's 6'7" or something, 6'6".
Yeah, I thought he did really
6'6".
And especially... Yeah, they were getting a ton of pressure, and they killed the guy before him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, McCarron, A.J. McCarron. So, the Panthers, bleh. There was nothing there. Same with the Colts. I think the Colts are going to suck this year. But
I know, and they don't have, you know, Phillip Rivers just retired, so I don't. What? Oh yeah, isn't Carson Wentz their quarterback now?
I didn't see him playing.
No, because he's been injured. Remember, he got injured like in camp, and you're like, wow, really?
He's always injured.
What? So even if he comes back for the regular season, like he's gonna have no preseason.
Oh my God, this is who they got. Jacob Eason is their starting quarterback. Sam Eilander is their backup, was a rookie. They got Brett Hundley as third string and Carson Wentz as fourth string.
I think that's just because Carson's injured. Yeah, he'll be a starter once he gets back at it.
Jacob Eason, he was in the league last year. He was a backup in Indianapolis. So they've got a 1-year guy and a rookie behind Carson Wentz. Oof. If he starts. They better hope he doesn't end up blowing a tire or something. My goodness.
No kidding. But at least that division is not that strong with the exception of the Titans.
They have a defensive end named Kwity Paye.
What?
Kwity Paye.
Kwity Paye?
Kwity Paye. How about that?
I wonder where the origin of that one. So at training camp, it's the first joint practice today against the Titans. And what stuck out to me, first of all, is that the Bucs media is all in a tizzy about the number of drops. And I'm going to call out particularly its Pewter Report. That's just...
I think Arians even said something about it, didn't he?
But he said, they had a good day offensively today, despite all the drops. So, you know, for him, he did say it wasn't Tom's best day either. So it wasn't just...
But they picked up on the drops thing.
Yeah, and they kept talking about the drops. I think they've been writing about it for a while, as I recall.
In training camp?
Yeah, in camp.
Well, they should have been writing about it all last year. I complained about it.
Yeah.
You know, for our elite receivers, we have way too many drops.
Yeah. But that's the narrative. I think that's going to be a narrative.
Got to find something. Huh?
Yeah, exactly. So, but there's a Tennessee Titans reporter, Paul Kuharsky, and he writes for Outkick. And he tweeted and said that our offensive tempo is way faster than the Titans. Like he said, we're just fast. So I thought that was interesting. Like our offense just goes fast.
Yeah. Yeah, especially now that they're much more in sync.
Yeah.
I bet they're going to go real fast.
Yeah. And then we got guys like AB, like Jalen Darden.
Yeah, and little Scotty Miller. Yes. Got some speedsters.
Exactly. Scotty Miller. So
wouldn't that be something to see? Darden, Scotty Miller, and Antonio Brown out there lined up. God. Going deep. That'd be so awesome.
They
I bet every
call
defense
that play like Sonic the Hedgehog or something. Please.
Our daughter would like that. Sonic. Yeah.
I know. So, I just thought that was interesting, and they'll have another day tomorrow where they're practicing against each other. So.
And then we play them Saturday at 7.
Play them Saturday at 7. Our starters are probably not going to play. So that stinks, but we'll see how the second string do.
Yeah.
And anyway, the Titans look good, their second string. So I'm like, they were some tough guys. They played well. So I think it'll be a good matchup, even with the starters not playing.
Yeah. Yeah, Titans are going to be a good team this year, maybe. You know,
they have been, and there's no competition in the division, so I expect them to run the division again.
Yeah, they still got Derrick Henry and Vrabel, and
they did lose their offensive coordinator though to Atlanta, which that was an interesting thing about that game. Did you know that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
So
that.
Atlanta's head coach was Tennessee's former offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
So they'll be running a new offense this
Interesting.
year.
Yeah, yeah. I wonder if they're going to be doing a lot more running.
They should. Good Lord. You got Derrick Henry, like top running back in the league.
Well, I'm talking about Atlanta.
Oh, Atlanta. Yeah.
Who was it we were watching? They had that runner, 37. Remember? Was that? No, that was New Orleans. New Orleans, yeah. Number 37 was just killing it.
And he looked like Alvin Kamara to me.
Yeah, I was like
he had
really?
The hair kind of hanging down too.
As Jameis Winston said, they're a good condom. 37.
Stop it.
Tony Jones Jr. Now he's 5th on their depth chart.
Who did you say?
What?
You said like Werner? Who did you say?
I didn't say anybody. I just said 37. Now, Tony Jones Jr., he's behind Alvin Kamara, Latavius Murray, Devontae Freeman, and Dwayne Washington right now. But he was great, man. He was out there. Every time he got the ball, he was picking up 10 yards.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like open holes. He was finding stuff. He was doing great cutbacks, and he had real good vision, man.
Hopefully they'll cut him. Just what they need is more running backs.
I know. Yeah.
Come on, man.
So the Atlanta Falcons head coach, used to be the offensive coordinator for the Tennessee Titans. Why in the world would they get? He's the offensive coordinator for Tennessee Titans. Now they ran. That was their thing for the past few years. It's just been run Derrick Henry down your throat every now and then, pass the ball, just keep defenses honest. But then they hire that guy to be the head coach of the Atlanta Falcons, where they have Matt Ryan. They did have Julio Jones. Might be why they don't have Julio Jones anymore. They're like, yeah, we're not gonna throw the ball a whole lot. We're gonna be more of a running team.
A good run game requires an offensive line, which Atlanta does not have and has not had for many years. But maybe they think, oh, this guy can build one.
Yeah, maybe they're focusing on the offensive line or something. Yeah. I mean, just because he did that at Tennessee, had a run-first offense, doesn't mean he's going to do that at Atlanta. You know, I don't know anything about the guy, so you'd have to go back and see his coaching tree.
I know. What tree did he come from?
What tree?
Who knows? Did you know that Tom Brady's son, his 13-year-old, is at camp working as a ball boy?
I had read something about that, but I did not know it. No.
I think it's cool.
Yeah.
Get to go to work with your dad.
That is awesome. He's 13, huh?
Yeah.
Is that his oldest?
I don't know. I don't think so. I don't know. Can't remember. You'll have to look. Fact check. Follow up. I do have some news from around the league. Are you ready for this?
Yes.
I don't know if you are. Apparently, the FBI is getting in on the investigation into Deshaun Watson.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So those bumbling retards are going to go in there and mess it all up.
Yeah. So why?
Are they going to? What are they going to go in and destroy evidence, or why is the FBI getting involved?
Why? What possibly? I mean, what interest do they have?
High profile case, maybe
I know. That's what I think.
Man.
Yeah.
So it was just, isn't the case? He was getting massages from these women masseuses and then just exposing himself and trying to get them to touch him. I mean, wasn't that basically the gist of it?
I think so.
So what in the world was the FBI need to get involved in that?
And what is the investigation? I mean, I don't. How much do you need to investigate this?
Oh, what's the world come to, man?
I don't know.
Federal Bureau of Investigation. We need to find out if you've been exposing yourself to female masseuses.
I guess
we need those pictures. That's what they're doing for their collection.
Evidence.
Man, I hope it's not anything more serious, though. You know, they found out there's some weird stuff going on.
I don't know. I don't understand it, but here we are. I don't understand how the investigation's taking so long. Like, what? You know, I don't know. I don't know. It's weird. Everything's weird. So, that is all that I have today. You got anything else?
No, I'm looking at Tom Brady's kids.
Oh, he's got two. Well, he's got Evie.
He's got Evie.
Yeah.
She's so cute. And he's so just wrapped around her finger.
You relate to that.
I do very much so. Vivian. That's her name. Vivian.
Right.
But he calls her
Evie.
Yeah. So we got Vivian.
Okay. So this is what happened. Yeah. He's 3, right?
Benjamin.
Yeah. So the oldest is with an actress, and she was on, I think, Law and Order, and she got pregnant, and they broke up I think that they were already broken up when she got pregnant.
Moynihan?
Yeah, and they weren't serious, really. I think they had dated like a year or something, and then so then I think he got with Giselle when she was pregnant. When was her name Bridget? When she was pregnant, he got with Giselle, and then I think shortly after, they had a baby. So I think that they were kind of close in age, weren't they? Mm-hmm. A couple years.
Yeah.
So
Jack and Benjamin.
Yeah. So Jack is the one that's at camp. So
okay,
which one
so
is
he's
he by?
Yeah, that's Bridget's son.
Okay. And he's the one that lives in New York, and Tom was like, I wanted to make sure that whatever team I went to, it would be a quick trip to New York so that I could see my son.
He calls Jack his good luck charm.
Oh.
In life. Yeah.
It seems like they have a good relationship because he's talked about him a lot. So
apparently. And him and Bridget Moynihan still have a real good relationship. Apparently, he wishes her happy birthday and happy Mother's Day regularly on his Instagram account. So, and
nice.
Jack, whose real name is John Edward Thomas Moynihan.
Oh my goodness!
He goes by Jack, of course.
That's a mouthful.
Yeah. He calls Giselle his bonus mom.
Yeah, that's cool.
He doesn't call her stepmom; he calls her bonus mom.
Bonus mom.
Bonus mom.
I bet all his friends always want to come over.
I don't know why.
Millionaires, supermodel, bonus mom.
Bonus mom. Oh my goodness.
I want to go over there.
I know. Just to hang out.
I know. I'll be friends with the kids. I don't care. That's creepy.
Yeah, that is kind of creepy. FBI's going to show up on your doorstep.
They start investigating.
Okay, there was a vaccinated player who got hospitalized for COVID. His name was Deon Dawkins. Now, I'm bringing this up because we had spoken about this in previous podcast how last year with all the COVID stuff going on, there was no players who died. There was only one player who was hospitalized, running back for Jacksonville Jaguars, right? Jacksonville. Mm-hmm. And he's now a free agent floating around out there somewhere. And
so I think that one retired. I think that one he had like complications and he hasn't come back.
Well, he hasn't come back. He tried.
Yeah.
He I think he tried out for the Giants and they were just like, meh.
Oh, remind me to talk about the Giants.
Okay.
When you're done.
So Deon Dawkins, he's the starting offensive tackle for the Buffalo Bills. Now this happened back in July, and we're just now finding out about it. But he was hospitalized after getting the first vaccine. But he was hospitalized with COVID. So it was within
like 2 weeks of getting the first or the second dose.
What? I don't think he got the second dose. I think it was in between the first and second doses. But anyhow, he was saying, it's the biggest health issue he's ever had in his life, and he said that he dealt with shortness of breath, fever, chills, coughing, dehydration, the full checklist of symptoms attached to COVID-19. So I'm trying to find out if it was after the first shot or after the second shot. They buried that down in the article.
Yeah, it's way at the bottom.
Yeah.
But and then he said it was the worst thing he had experienced, and then he had proselytized to other people that he knew, including players and family members.
Yes. Yeah, he did. He got fully vaccinated, but the positive result came within the 2-week period following his second dose for the vaccine to fully kick in. So we have a fully vaccinated player was hospitalized for COVID.
Well, they would argue that he wasn't fully vaccinated.
Yeah.
Well, here's my question, though. And BA said by the start of the season, when we get down to the 53-man roster, we'll be at nearly 100%. We might have one holdout, but here's my question. Now they're talking about booster. So what happens if you haven't gotten a booster? Are you back to unvaccinated?
Oh, yeah.
Like, what's going to happen?
Heck yeah. As soon as they come out with the boosters, that means everybody's unvaccinated until you get that booster. Right? That's how it works. I mean, if you only get one shot from the vaccination, you're considered unvaccinated.
Right.
If you get 2 shots and then with 2-week period after the vaccination, you're considered unvaccinated. Then if you don't get the booster shot, you should be considered unvaccinated. So that means all this is going to start all over again.
I know. And then how do you handle that until people can get the third shot? Like, do you start swabbing them again? And then, I don't know. When
the restrictions.
When are they considered fully vaccinated? I think it causes a huge logistical issue for the NFL.
Yeah. And it's almost impossible to follow. It was like, who was it that the tight end for somebody was like, I got vaccinated so that I wouldn't have to go through all this stuff. Now they're saying I have to go through all this stuff again.
It was Jimmy Graham.
That's the thing. What are the goalposts here? What are the lines? At first it was, herd immunity. We were supposed to, we were all waiting for the vaccination so that we could vaccinate the elderly and the people that were, in danger of getting COVID and getting sick and dying. And now I don't know what it's turned into. Now it's everybody's got to get vaccinated all the time, forever.
I don't know.
Get booster shots every 8 months.
And the NFL is really pushing it. And so like the Raiders have said only vaccinated fans can come in. And yeah.
I don't understand.
And not just this. No, wait. They're having vaccines like in the parking lot. Like you can go get your vaccine.
That's exactly where I'd get a needle put in my arm is in the parking lot during a tailgate, like football game.
Isn't that coercion? I don't know. Like they can't give tattoos if you're drunk. Why could they perform a medical procedure?
Good point.
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, again, I mean, that's what I don't understand about all this is everything just is constantly shifting and moving, and you don't know what's the end game here. it's never going to go away. People know that, right? I mean, this is a virus. Viruses don't go away. You know, you can't even vaccinate it away. The only way you could vaccinate it away is if you vaccinated everybody and killed every animal. Because, you know, deers, cats, dogs, most mammals are reservoirs for these viruses. Mm-hmm. You know, and they give it to you, you give it to them. It's just swapping back and forth all the time. And I mean, so we would have to basically vaccinate everybody and everything in order to, I mean, is that the goal? I've never heard anybody say that we're trying to completely eradicate the coronavirus. But that means we have to do it to everybody on the planet and every animal. It's just, right?
Or close the borders, you know? I don't know.
But how long are you going to close the borders for?
Yeah, forever.
Because this stuff is there. I mean, viruses don't go away. Right. They just don't.
Yeah.
You know, we're living with viruses that have been around for millions of years. I mean, I don't. That's why I'm just kind of perplexed by all of it. What is the goal here? I mean, if you look at it right now, people aren't dying. You know, the deaths happened last July. That was when, you know, we peaked, and basically we got rid of the people that were going to succumb to this, and now it's just kind of, you know, hovering at a, you know, smaller percentage. So what? I don't understand what we're trying to do with all this stuff. In the NFL especially, it's like you have some of the most healthiest people on the planet, mm-hmm. and you're mandating them to, you know, get vaccinated against something that's not going to affect them. It didn't affect them last year. I mean, none of them got sick. None of them were hospitals. One guy.
Well, it amazed me how, you know, we've heard it's really contagious, but then you don't, if you look at the CDC website, it's like you're considered a close contact if it's like you have to be around people for like 15 minutes in close proximity, like within
like an airplane.
Feet. Yeah. Yeah.
Which they never stopped.
I know.
It's like, that was,
yeah.
What sense does that make?
I know. So, I don't know. All right, let's get back to football.
Yeah.
I wanted to talk about the Giants today. So, the co-owner of the Giants is on the rules committee, and he was talking about how he thinks, you know, he's tired of being taunted. So that's why they're coming up with the taunting rule.
Wait, he's tired of being taunted?
Yeah.
Or
so, well, you know, you could like quit sucking and then maybe the Giants wouldn't get taunted.
No way.
He said, this is what he said, quote, "We get sick and tired of the talking that goes on from time to time. It's just a question of whether you can have rules that can be enforced and without taking the fun out of the game."
They're going to get as close as they can. Is that what I'm hearing? Here's fun. We're going to get as close to that and take everything else out underneath fun.
Captain Fun Police.
Captain Fun
here.
Police. Yeah, how did that become a thing? I mean, on taunting, you know, I understand you want to be sportsmanlike and everything.
No, you don't. No, I don't. Ever.
Yeah, you know, I'm kind of of that opinion too. I like when guys get out there and get up in each other's face. I think they should let them fight, like hockey. You know, these guys start fighting. It's like, hey, we don't care, but you got to line up in 35 seconds. Mm-hmm. You know,
mm-hmm.
if the other guys get up, line up, snap the ball while you're fighting, you know, it's a penalty on you.
Right.
But man, they jump up quick, get up in between guys, and then throw flags, and you know, there's all this stuff, and you're just like, just let them go at it. They're grown men.
Mm-hmm.
They probably wouldn't fight as much as if you let them. The reason why they fight is because they know you're going to break them up. You know, let them go at it. Start taking bets on the sideline.
Right. They're in full padding. Like, how much damage are they going to do?
Do you remember with the Saints last year, that guy pulled the mouthpiece out and then punched that guy? Who was that? I don't need names. Teams.
Okay.
Chauncey Gardner?
Yeah. And it was with Chicago.
Okay. Who came up to who? Was it Chicago?
Oh, man, I cannot remember. I want to say, and it happened, did Chicago go to the playoffs too? Because it happened twice. And I can't remember.
Anyhow.
I think it was Chauncey Gardner. Chauncey Gardner
I'm just trying to remember
hyphenated.
if it was the Saints player that pulled the mouthpiece out and then punched the guy, or if it was the Chicago player.
It was Chicago.
Well,
Because it was two different receivers. I think Mills was one of them. Might have been the first time. And then the second time, it was a different guy. But it was the same Saints defender both times.
I watched a breakdown of this a couple days ago, and I didn't realize it, but before those two had gotten into it, and the guy who came out and ripped the mouthpiece out of the guy. The Chicago guy came up and ripped the mouthpiece out of the Saints guy and then punched him in the face.
Right.
That guy, the guy he did that to, had done that to him previously in the game. They had gotten into it, and the guy ripped his mouthpiece out and like smacked him in the face. So this guy was sitting there the whole game just dwelling on that. You know?
I had no idea.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, he threw the mouthpiece on the ground, and it became kind of an issue because they were playing right around it, and the ball ended up being placed right next to it, and the center got down. Right, it's this old nastiest mouthpiece. The center got down, and he went to hike the ball, and he looked over and he saw that, so he grabbed it and he threw it behind him. Right, so yeah, it became this whole thing where, yeah. So anyhow, I just found that very interesting. I was like, see, you never know the full. You think this guy's being a total jerk, which he was, but he was retaliating, and this guy doing it to him earlier in the game. You never heard about that part of the story. I was like,
that is hilarious.
Yeah.
Just, you can tell, like, he clearly, the one guy got in the other guy's head.
Oh,
with
yeah.
the mouthpiece. I mean, he was just
pissed.
pissed.
Yeah, the dude punches him, and he just, like, took it. It didn't even faze the guy. He was like, what are you doing? Then he punched him again. He was like, hey, come on. He started looking around for the refs. And then the guy just started punching him in the face. He was like...
And then he got rejected for retaliating.
Did he?
Later in the game.
Rejected or
ejected? Ejected.
Okay.
Like the Chicago guy, he got ejected for punching.
Yeah, well, he should have been. I mean, he just clocked that dude, man. It was a sucker punch. Anyhow, I just thought of that, so I thought I'd bring it up. I found it interesting. So the New York Giants owner is upset that he keeps getting mocked. So that's why we have to have these taunting rules.
He said, we get sick and tired of the talking that goes on from time to time.
He's the head of the committee?
He is co-owner of the Giants. Oh, he supports the new taunting rule.
Oh, okay.
I thought he was on the committee.
Who is the head of the committee now? I haven't paid much attention since Jeff Fisher.
It used to be Jeff Fisher. I don't know if it is anymore. We'll have to look. That'll be a follow-up.
Okay. That's hilarious, though.
He said, quote, nobody wants to see a player taunting another player. I know. I certainly don't.
What?
Do you like the NFL?
I don't think he does.
Like, why do you watch football?
He probably hates to see
a football team.
He's like, nobody likes to see other guys tackle guys. I know. So we need to stop tackling.
Yeah. Well, he probably doesn't want to see his own players get taunted, and it happens all the time because they're so shitty. I don't have any patience for this. I want to see the taunting. I'm here for the pettiness.
Yes. I am here for the taunting. I am here for the hurt fifis.
Yes.
All right. We need to get this wrapped up. Anything else?
Nope.
All right, guys. We will see you Friday. And there's a game Saturday. We've got 10-minute news that are going to be coming up tomorrow just to keep everybody informed as to what's going on. So if you're interested in that, check us out on the YouTubes. It's just a real quick, we just pop in and talk about the day's news. And then Friday we'll have the full podcast again. And then Saturday we got the game. So fun stuff. Football is almost here, baby. Almost here.
So close.
All right. That's going to wrap it up for us. Till next time.
Go Bucs.